Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. In this video, I'm going to be using Teckwrap craft vinyls and my CRICUT to make this trio of gnome decor for my dining room. I have a little bit of a gnome theme going on for Valentine's Day, and I'm also going to show you how to layer vinyl in this tutorial as well. So if you're interested in following along or learning something new, then just keep watching. Some of my favorite products from Teckwrap Craft is their starter pack sheet bundles, and I'm especially excited to be sharing these two starter packs with you guys because they've actually been sold out for quite a while and they just restocked. So I've been holding out and waiting for the restock to be able to show you guys. So let me show you the vinyls first that I'm going to be using in the video, and then we'll go ahead and get into the tutorial. So I will be using vinyl sheets from both the TWC001 matte series, also known as TWC001M, and TWC001 glossy or G series. And I know that's kind of confusing, but on the website they're sold as 001M and 001G. So for this video, I think I'm going to use these three colors from the matte series or matte sheet bundle pack, and then I think I'm going to be using the red and the black from the glossy. And normally I like matte vinyl more than glossy. I just prefer using matte in most of my projects, but for this project I think using a combo of both matte and glossy is going to give my project some dimension and give it a little pop. So that's why I'm going to use both. So let me quickly go over the different colors that come in each sheet pack, and you'll notice that I've used some of them already to craft with. But I think one of the things that I like the most about the sheet packs is that I don't have to break out a bunch of rolls if I don't need to, especially when I have projects that require a lot of different colors. Like this project, I'm using 5 different colors. So it makes more sense to use sheets rather than getting a bunch of different rolls out. That can be kind of annoying. So that's one thing I like about using the sheet packs. And also these are great if you want to sample a bunch of different colors and types of vinyl without purchasing an entire roll of each color, if that makes sense. And Teckwrap is always launching new starter sheet packs too, so be sure to check the website frequently for those new launches. And I most recently got the Valentine's Day sheet pack and made a bunch of decor for my house for Valentine's Day. And then this cute gnome sign featured on Teckwrap Craft's YouTube channel, which, by the way, if you don't know, Teckwrap Craft does have a YouTube. I will go ahead and link their channel down below. Go check them out after this video and subscribe to their channel as well so you never miss a new launch from them. And you can also find tutorials on their channel as well. And if you are interested in trying out any of these vinyls for yourself by Teckwrap Craft, I do have a discount code for you for 10% off anything on their website. Not just the vinyls, they also have tools, accessories, and even cutting mats, which you'll see later on in this video. So 10% off at checkout. And again, I will leave everything linked down below for you guys to easily and quickly access that. And then also in the sheet packs, you also get 2 sheets in each pack. I already used one on this one, but you get 2 sheets of the matte transfer tape. So that was everything in these starter sheet packs. So let's go ahead and go over to CRICUT Design Space where we can start this tutorial. Voiceover Wendy here. I realized I need to show you guys the materials I'm going to be using, or the blanks I'm going to be using for this craft before I show you the CRICUT tutorial, otherwise it won't make sense. But basically I got these pictures from Dollar Tree, and you can like remove I guess the image out, and then I just used some cardstock from, I think I got this at Michael's, but it's just some like white glitter cardstock, and I just cut it out to be, I think, 7 by 11 inches, which was the size of the inside of that frame. So after I did that, I just took some double-sided tape and applied it to the back of that cardstock, and then placed it on top of the original image. And that's it. I used 3 of these. Again, I got them at Dollar Tree. And then the glitter paper, I believe I got at Michael's on sale a long time ago. So that's pretty much it. Now let's go ahead and jump into the Cricut tutorial. All right, guys, so in Cricut Design Space, you can see I already have my gnomes selected and sized. They're ready to be cut by my Cricut, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it again for those of you that are new and just learning how to use Design Space. So the first thing I did was go over to the Shapes toolbar and selected the square shape. And I'm just gonna move it over here, and I'm actually gonna change the size. I'm going to unlock this first, because if I put one number in here, if it's locked, it will automatically just turn it into a square. So by unlocking it, I can have different numbers here. So for the width, it was 6.5 with the frame. So that's what the correct size that I want to use, by 10.5. So, oops, select that, by 10.5. Okay. So now that I have my size, I can go ahead and lock that, and I'm actually going to change the color to white. This doesn't matter, I'm just using this for sizing reference, but I'm just changing the color to white so I can see my design a little bit better. So after I got my template ready to go, I went over to images and I just typed in the word gnome, and I chose 3 different gnomes from Cricut Design Space. Now these are all for Access members. Everything that you see that has an A on it is for people that have the subscription for Cricut Access, which I've had for a couple of years now. I think it's totally worth it. But of course you can upload your own designs from elsewhere if you wanted to. I think those were the 3 gnomes that I selected. They all kind of look the same or have like the same color scheme. That's what I was kind of going for. Oh no, I think it was that one that I had. So let's see if those were the same gnomes. So yeah, I selected that one, this cute little guy, and then it was this one. Okay, so now that I have my 3 gnomes, I just went ahead and like placed each one inside and sized it to my liking. So the square gives me an idea, the rectangle gives me an idea of what my design is going to look like and how to size it. So that looks good right there. And that's all I did for every gnome, was just played around with it and sized it to my liking. So after I figured that out, I just went ahead and deleted the square. And so as you can see, their robes are red over here. So I'm going to change the color. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and hide these layers. You can do that over here in the layers panel. Oops, I'm gonna hide the whole thing. And I think it was this one. Yeah, okay, so over here in the layers panel, you can see all of these like little eyeballs. That basically like hides that layer when you select it, but I want to find the dark pink layer on each one of these, and I want to change the color. So to do that, I'm going to select one, and then holding my control button down, I'm going to select the next one, and then the next one. Then I'm going to go up here and change the color to red. So that's how I did that. If I were to try to select from here instead of the layers panel, it would select everything. So once I did that, I went ahead and clicked Make It. And so over here, you can see that there's 5 different colors, and that's how the Cricut organizes the cuts, is by color. So there's 5 different colors, 5 different cuts. And you can click on each one and kind of like spread things out if you want. But that looks, actually, let me scoot this one over a little bit more. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. And then for the material type, I'm just going to click on vinyl and then change the pressure to less. And I'm going to keep these cut settings for every single mat or every single color. Then I'm going to go ahead and load my mat and then load my mat into the machine. So I'll go ahead and meet you over at my craft desk where I'm going to show you how to load the mat. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load my first color on the mat, which is the beard color, this like sky blue or like very light baby blue. So I'm just gonna set that on there and I'm just gonna roll it over. This little foam roller I picked up at a Daiso. It's like a Japanese dollar store, and it's awesome for placing vinyl on mats and rolling it out. And real quick, I want to mention something very important. On a lot of Teckwrap Crafts vinyl, they have a protective layer. It's like a very thin sheet, and I'm showing you guys this one because I already peeled it off this one. But it's a very thin film, and it's just to protect the vinyl from getting scratched while it's being stored or shipped. It's really cool. I haven't seen any other vinyl company do that yet. Excuse me. So just make sure you remove that before you place this in your vinyl cutting machine. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to waste your vinyl. It's not going to cut all the way through. And it's just going to be kind of frustrating. So just make sure that you remove the film. Check each piece of vinyl and see if it has a piece of film before you place it through your vinyl cutting machine. So now that I have my mat loaded, I'm going to go ahead and load it into my CRICUT for the first cut, and then I'll meet you back here when I take the vinyl off the mat. All right, so my machine has finished its first cut, so I'm going to flip over the mat, and then I'm going to remove the mat from the vinyl by peeling back the mat and then pressing down on the vinyl at the same time. And this is going to prevent the vinyl from being damaged or curled. And then all I'm going to do is cut out the pieces that I cut on my CRICUT, which it can be kind of hard to see on camera. And then I can put this in my vinyl scraps, or I can put it back in the sheet pack. And then I'm going to further separate these because there are 3 different gnome beards in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. And then I'm just going to follow the same steps for cuts 2 through 5. So I'm just going to load them on the mat and follow what the cut screen, the pattern the cut screen tells me to do, or what colors it tells me to load next. All right, guys, so I have all 5 of my colors cut by my CRICUT, and they are ready to be weeded. And if you're new to the vinyl crafting community, basically what weeding is it's removing the unwanted parts to reveal the design. So I'm going to use my Teckwrap pin pen, and I'm just going to start by pulling up one corner of the vinyl and then just kind of like peeling at an angle. So if you aren't new to my CRICUT tutorials, then you'll know that weeding vinyl is my favorite part of crafting with vinyl. It's really relaxing and fun. I'll just pull my trash can over here. So here are my little noses and ears. They are done. Oh, actually, I lied. There's this little guy right here. And the pin pen is perfect for grabbing like little pieces like that. And you guys will notice, if you watch my videos, if you watch my other vinyl tutorials, you notice I repeat myself a lot. And that's because I am trying to include all of the, my new viewers or people that, are just learning how to use their CRICUT. I don't want to assume that everyone knows how to use Design Space or knows how to weed vinyl, or, I don't want to assume that. So I want to include everyone for those that are just learning. So that's why I repeat myself a lot. So here are all of like the mouths and the ears. I'm sorry, like the spaces in between like the nose and stuff. So those are done. And I highly recommend when you're weeding vinyl, if you have like a complex design, to keep your design up on your screen, whatever software you're using. If you're using Cricut Design Space, have your design up on Cricut Design Space so you can reference it when you're weeding, so you don't accidentally weed out, you know, pieces that weren't meant to be weeded. And it does happen. It'll probably happen in this video. It's very common. But if you accidentally pull something up that you weren't supposed to, it's not a big deal. You can actually go back later and fix it. So this is weeding beautifully so far. And that's one thing that I love about Teckwrap craft vinyls, is that their vinyl is very easy to weed. Very beginner friendly. So here's one beard done. And normally I have my little lint roller out, but I can't find it. I like to stick the little pieces on that. So we will work on beard number 2. And again, I'm just going to peel. You can also kind of turn it and go with the design. That's easy as well. My little trash can, I got off of Amazon. Little desktop trash can. It's perfect for my little vinyl scraps. I have an Amazon storefront always linked in the description of my videos. And it just has like all of my favorite like crafting supplies that I use, if you're interested in checking that out. But yeah, I love this little desktop trash can. I actually like bought it after I saw like a TikTok Amazon must-haves for, I think, crafts or something like that. I actually bought a lot of stuff from watching TikTok must-have videos. Like I bought a little desktop vacuum. It's like a little handheld vacuum to like clean up glitter or like little pieces of dust. Okay, so the beards are done and the noses. Now let's work on some hats and some bodies. And I'm doing this in real time. I don't think I'm gonna speed through the vinyl. I might a little bit just to save time. We'll see how long this video is, but I want to show you guys how well this vinyl weaves. I mean, it's so easy. Highly recommend it if you're a beginner. And normally I wouldn't attach my images that have like this big of gaps in between pieces, just because it does waste a lot of vinyl. But I also want this to be a beginner-friendly tutorial. I don't want to overcomplicate it. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And also, if you are new to layering vinyl, it's actually, I recommend working with larger pieces anyways. Because working with like tiny, tiny pieces, when you're first learning how to layer vinyl, or like, I guess, line it up correctly, it's going to be, you might get kind of frustrated. So that's why I recommend starting with larger designs like this. Okay, so we're almost done with this. And there's a tiny, tiny little piece right here that might come up. Yeah. So what I can do is hold it down with my finger if I can touch it. Okay. See that little piece? So if that part came up with the vinyl, with the main chunk or the perimeter piece of vinyl, I would just go back and take my little pen and like dig it out and then place it back on there. Not a big deal if that happens. And it probably, again, will happen in this video at some point. Okay, so that little guy is done. And so my last pieces are going to be the other parts of the hat. And I think I'm gonna have to look at my screen for this one. This red is so pretty. Again, normally I'm like a matte kind of vinyl girl, but I really like this glossy red. It's gorgeous. Okay, so that piece. And okay, perfect. And then just, you can always double check your vinyl too, and make sure there's no pieces hanging on. And then you can just kind of roll it up in a ball. Okay, what is on here? I think this is the words, or is this just this? That's just a scrap piece of vinyl, I think. All right. I'm telling you, weeding vinyl, if you, this is gonna sound really gross, but if you like peeling sunburns or anything like that, you'll like weeding vinyl. It's like, it's the equivalent in my opinion. It's the equivalent of that. I'm a peeler. I've always enjoyed peeling things. All right, so there's that. And I didn't have words in this design. I don't know why I thought there was words. Usually I do words in my designs, but I forgot that I didn't use words in this one. Okay, so this piece right here wants to come up. Okay, is there a piece? Nope. All right, so that's it. All of my pieces are weeded, and I don't know how long that took. I'll have to go look at the footage. But that was pretty fast, and I actually went slower than I normally would, just so you guys could see. I don't want to go too fast in this tutorial. So that's all my pieces. Now I'm gonna go grab my picture frames and some parchment paper and some transfer tape, and I'll be right back. All right, so now I'm going to begin the layering and application process, and I'm going to be using the Purple Grid Medium Tack Transfer Tape by Teckwrap Craft. All right, so now I have my transfer tape, so I'm just going to remove that, and I'm going to find my bottom layer first, and I'm going to apply that to my canvas first. So I guess let's go with this cute little gnome. So this is going to be my bottom layer, so everything else I'm going to stack on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place that sticky side up, and then I'm going to put my gnome piece on top. And where did I put my squeegee? There it is. So now I'm going to squeegee. I'm going to do both sides. And now I'm going to remove the backing from the transfer tape, just like that. And then I'm just going to place him down. And it looks like I can have a little bit of give. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to burnish this piece on. And this paper is smooth, so normally I wouldn't use a medium tack transfer tape on paper, but this paper isn't like normal paper. It's cardstock, but it's not like, it's not gonna rip up with the transfer tape is what I'm trying to say. So now I'm just going to remove the transfer tape. From the canvas, and if there's a little piece that wants to come up, I'm just going to go back over it and fix it, like this little piece. So, all right, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to flip this over, and then place that down. And the reason why I don't recommend usually doing like layering on top of your canvas first is because a lot of the times it'll be a lot harder to adjust or fix your design if you layer on your canvas first, whatever your blank canvas may be. Like a coffee mug, it would be extremely difficult to readjust your design if you like made a mistake with your layering. But with this, I feel like it's okay because I feel like I could slide it around and adjust it if I needed to. Like the stick isn't, or like the strength of the vinyl isn't as strong with the paper as it is with something like ceramic, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so now I have my parchment paper, and basically the idea is I'm going to use the parchment paper to help me layer. So I'm just going to have like a little tiny piece hanging off right here that isn't on top of the parchment paper, and I'm going to use it as a hinge. So basically I'm just going to line up, once I figure out the correct placement. Okay, so maybe this needs to go over a little bit more. So that looks good right there. So now I can use my finger and kind of rub that down. Then I can lift up, slide the parchment paper out, and then now I can smooth over my second layer. And now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to peel back my transfer tape. Oh, that little guy wants to come up, so I'm just gonna hold him down with my finger. And now I have my second layer. So now I'm going to find the beard and do the same thing. So I'm gonna do layer number 3. All right, so I was just about to put the wrong nose on the wrong gnome. I'm glad I figured that one out. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut out another piece of transfer tape since I already stuck that one down. And if you see pieces that want to stay attached, just kind of go back and repeal. All right, so now that we have the correct beard, I'm gonna go ahead and line this guy up so he goes around the heart. So I'm gonna use this as my hinge, actually a little bit more, like, that's okay. That right there is okay. So now I can slide this around and figure out the correct placement, which that looks pretty dang good right there. So again, I'm just going to rub my finger on the hinge, pull this up, slide this out, and voila. It looks like we have a piece of an ear, or I don't know, maybe that's just a scrap piece hanging on from my desk, but let me go ahead and take that off real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to remove, again, the transfer tape. Again, be patient with this part, especially if you have like a design that has like lots of little cuts like this. Don't go fast. If you go fast, you're gonna mess around with the placement of your design. So just kind of go slow. The closer you are, or the sharper the angle you have to your transfer tape when you're pulling back, you're gonna have a lot more success. And then you can like do something like this, like kind of wiggle it back and forth. All right, so now I think all we have left for this little gnome is the nose and the ears. So I'm gonna find his little nose, or I think he has, yeah, he has the biggest nose. And I'm just going to cut off a piece of this transfer tape and make it a little bit smaller. We don't need a huge piece for that. So I'm gonna reuse transfer tape over and over and over again. And I'm gonna get his nose. And peel his nose off. And for little pieces like this, I normally don't use the parchment paper because it's only one piece. I don't really need to line up a bunch of pieces together. So just, I do these usually one at a time, the smaller pieces with only one or two pieces. So there's the nose. And then I have to figure out which ones were his ears, I believe. Were they these ones? Ooh, I think they were these ears, actually. Yeah, these are the two ears. So I'll just do these, again, one at a time. And how did they go? Actually, oh, okay, like that. Okay, so there's one ear. I'm just gonna use my finger for that piece. And then here's the other little ear. Oops. Sorry, little guy. Okay, now I'm gonna place this ear on. Okay, and then I think the only thing I have left is his little feet, which are on, I believe, this piece. Yeah, so I think he only had one foot, one big foot and one smaller foot. So these two pieces right here are his little feet. So I'm gonna go ahead and burnish those on there. Oops, I accidentally pulled that one up. That's okay. Set them back down. And so I believe the placement, yep, was right under here for that piece. Perfect. So there's his little legs. Okay, so there is my first gnome. I'm gonna go ahead and put him back in the frame. All right, so here's my first little gnome, and I love how he turned out. And I love this glitter background, especially for the beard. I just think it makes it like his beard pop a little bit more. But I think for the other two gnomes, I'm just gonna do those off camera. Otherwise, I think this video is gonna be way too long. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will put a snapshot of all three gnomes once I finish those ones, but I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, I would love a thumbs up. Also, if you aren't currently subscribed to my channel, I hope you will consider clicking that subscribe button for more content from me. And also don't forget to go check out Teckwrap Crafts YouTube channel. And then again, if you want to try anything out from their website, CPanda10 for 10% off. So until my next video, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and thanks so much for watching. Take care.